When looking out into the dark abyss that we call space, we often wonder to ourselves whether we may be contacted by any intelligent civilizations out there. We send out signals ourselves. This is of course a shot in the dark and wishful thinking that an alien species may be looking in the right place at the right time to receive these signals. But there is hope that one day we may receive a signal. There have been many strange accounts of signals that scientists have recorded that are of unknown origin and remain a topic of speculation to this day. An example would be the WOW signal, which has been widely speculated on for 45 years. This is because this signal never repeated. It was detected on August 15, 1977 by the Ohio State University's Big Ear radio telescope. While it seems more plausible that the signal is of natural origin, it is believed that it could have been emitted by a sun-like star. We still can't help but wonder what if with these signals, if they are of extraterrestrial origin. Another more recent signal of interest was detected by astronomers at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. This signal was detected from a galaxy 1 billion light years away from Earth, meaning of course that this signal is over 1 billion years old. It is believed that this signal may have come from a neutron star, but the signal is described as being like a heartbeat. So if you are wanting to throw a shot in the dark in hopes that a civilization may be able to find and decipher your signal, why not make it like a heartbeat? As this may be something that is universally understood, as all intelligent beings may have a heart. Other potentially universally understood subjects are math and science. As for a species to become technologically advanced, they would need these subjects. Sending and receiving signals is, as I described earlier, a shot in the dark. But if by chance one of our signals is received by an alien civilization, or we receive a signal, how would this affect our species? Well, our reaction to either scenario would be dependent on the contents of this signature. Our species would likely react negatively to the confirmation of a signal being of extraterrestrial origin. This is because at our current state, we are in limbo, trapped in the unknown. Is there life out there, or are we utterly alone in this vast universe? After the initial response to this groundbreaking information, we would react in one of three ways: positively, negatively, or with indifference. Again, this is a spectrum and depends on the message. If a species says, "Hello, we see you there and we would like to trade knowledge," the general public would have a more positive reaction to this bizarre scenario we would find ourselves in. But if we received a signal from a species saying that they're on their way to planet Earth, we may see the collapse of society before this civilization even arrives here, as there are only so many reasons that an alien civilization would want to traverse the vast distances of space to come in contact with a species. If there are advanced societies out there, the species more than likely went through their own trials and tribulations, just like humans have. Looking introspectively and analysing our species' history could give us some insight into the possible behaviour patterns of an intelligent species. There is still quite a substantial amount of time before we are able to traverse the stars and make any meaningful impact in the universe that can be observed by a distant civilization. This is a positive because we can't hope to know the morals and ethics of an alien species, though by looking at our own species, we can determine that becoming a spacefaring civilization is something that an aggressive and expansive species like ours might try to achieve. As humanity began to settle and domesticate, moving away from our hunter-gatherer roots, we began to establish societies. Throughout the ages there have been untold amounts of interspecies conflicts, all for the purpose of power and monetary gain. Colonialism is something we still see to this very day, factions and countries that are willing to do whatever is necessary to expand their grasp of power across the globe. So it does not seem implausible that this trajectory will continue for our species for the centuries to come. All of this is how we treat our own species, so now think about how we would treat a species that we perceive as being more primitive. Well, brace yourselves, as we don't have to look too far. Just look at the atrocities committed against fellow Earth inhabitants every day. So what does all of this mean? It means if we are the more advanced species, we may consider military action against an extraterrestrial species to prevent a possible future where the species may become more technologically advanced than ours. This could mean for us that we live in a dark forest type universe, which essentially means that there are predatory species out there that may wipe out an entire civilization rather than take the risk of leaving them alive. So beaming signals out into the cosmos might not be the wisest decision we've ever made. It seems most wise for us to make as little presence as possible, or somehow disguise it, so that we can observe our environment and try and gain an understanding of what the fundamental nature of an intelligent species might be. So in conclusion, the detection of an alien species could be the end of humanity as we know it, as we would have answered one of the most perplexing questions a person can ask regarding the universe, and we may have some new alien friends, or we become aware of the predatory nature of species throughout the cosmos. Whenever a less advanced society has come across a more advanced one, it has never worked out well. So let's hope that we begin to tread more carefully, so we are not thrust into a terrible future for our species. Thank you all so very much for watching this video, and I appreciate you all for sticking by. I'd just like to give a little brief overview and a quick non-scripted discussion with you guys post-scripted video. So, with this topic of signals, I do think it is very, very unwise to be sending signals out into the cosmos without having any knowledge of what an intelligent species could be, or who could be receiving these signals. We don't know how they're going to react. We don't know a species' morals and ethics. We don't know whether there is intelligent species out there to receive this signal or send signals to us. So it would seem the most logical thing to try and disguise our presence in this universe and try to bring together a collective amount of information to understand more about alien life before we go out there throwing shots in the dark trying to get in contact with a species in hopes that it is something that isn't going to be aggressive and expansive and just wipe out our species because they think, well, you know, if we leave this species it may become more advanced than us, and it may decide to, even if we do sort out some kind of deal with it, it may stab us in the back in the future. You never know. It's just, you never know what it's going to be like in navigating with an intelligent species out there in the cosmos, because we won't be able to speak the same language. They'll be completely alien to us. We'll only be able to talk through universally understood subjects like math and science and things like that, and that's why I said about the heartbeat thing. It's a little bit interesting. It's probably not. It's probably just from some kind of neutron star, like I said, but it's always nice to speculate on whether any of these signals are of extraterrestrial origin. I do believe it is a negative thing to receive a signal from an alien species, because it is going to be something that throws a massive wrench into human society. People will panic, they'll go crazy, they'll just be like, wow, we're not in this limbo stage of not knowing whether life exists out there in the cosmos or it doesn't. It'll tip societies and religions and ethical and moral codes up on their head. People will be going crazy, and genuinely it'll cause a lot of discourse across the planet. So it's something that we want to avoid. It's something that is probably not the most logical. It seems like it would be logical to try and get in contact with a helping hand, Big Brother style of alien species that might be able to give us some insight in some subjects that we have no idea about yet. But the negatives definitely outweigh the positives in my opinion, because, you know, that's just saying, what if the species is peaceful? And realistically, what kind of peaceful species is it has the ability to just like traverse the galaxy, traverse the entirety of the extended universe, and, you know, colonize different planets, you know, destroy the ecosystems of worlds just for their own gain? Like, you've got to be pretty aggressive and expansive to do these things. So we've got to wonder whether we're living in a dog forest hypothesis kind of universe. So I'd like to thank you all again for watching this video and sticking by even longer to hear me just ramble on about this subject. I do believe it's very interesting, and I want to hear your guys' thoughts on it. So please let me know what your thoughts on receiving signals and sending signals. What do you believe? Do you believe it's a smart idea, or do you believe it's not a smart idea? Do you think it's going to be a fruitful endeavor? Because realistically, it seems more or less like something that is just wishful thinking rather than actually trying to locate and search for life, you know, by looking at closer exoplanets and saying, okay, this is an Earth-like world. There could potentially be a civilization here. There probably isn't, because they may have detected us. There may be a civilization, but they're much less advanced. We can try and understand if there's biosignatures, technosignatures type thing coming from these worlds. This seems like the more logical way of trying to understand alien life and biology and all this kind of stuff than shooting signals out there for potentially godlike civilizations to discover. But hell, maybe they would know we're here anyway and it'd just be pointless and we're going to get wiped out by them anyway. But let's hope not. Let's hope we manage to stay incognito mode. If we are in incognito mode, who knows, we may not be, and we may be being observed. It's all hypothetical when it comes to discussion of alien life, but it doesn't make it any more interesting. I thank you all so much. Please subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and peace out, my homies. Much love.